Nobody tells you this, but your love life doesn't expire like milk in the fridge. In fact, here's the kicker. Staying intimate as you age is directly tied to better heart health, lower stress levels, and yep, a longer life. But most people? They quietly accept the myth that desire dies with the calendar, that with each birthday, the flame flickers out. It's not just wrong, it's robbing millions of what could be the most connected chapter of their lives. This is True Story, and I'm Jordan. Let's unpack the part of aging no one wants to talk about, but everyone should. Let's start here. Your body will change. That's not up for debate. Hormones shuffle, energy dips, and sometimes the body just doesn't respond like it used to. Blood flow slows. Arousal may take its sweet time. That's biology, not a verdict. But here's where it gets interesting. Understanding how your body changes unlocks a new kind of intimacy, deeper, slower, more intentional. Think of it this way. When you were younger, passion might have been a wildfire, quick to spark, quick to burn out. Now, you're learning to simmer, to savor. And if you know how to play it right, it's better than it ever was. It starts with the basics, and yet, most people overlook them. Eat like your hormones depend on it, because they do. Lean proteins, healthy fats, greens that don't come in a bag of chips. This isn't just about stamina, it's about giving your body the tools to want again. And stress? That's the silent killer of connection. Your body can't crave closeness when it's in survival mode. Meditation, breath work, a long walk where your phone stays home. These are not luxuries. They're intimacy tools. Sharp ones. Now here's something most never consider. Intimacy is emotional, mental, sometimes even spiritual. Confidence isn't a byproduct of youth. It's the reward of self-awareness. And nothing kills the spark faster than believing you're no longer enough. Let's talk touch. Real, intentional touch. Skin gets drier. Nerves get quieter. But that doesn't mean pleasure packs up and leaves. It just changes its address. Touch becomes a conversation, not a sprint. A well-placed hand, a slow massage, the right oil at the right time. It's not fluff. It's firewood. Skin on skin isn't just about heat. It's about healing. That's science. And here's the wild part. Self-care and intimacy, they're twins. The better you feel about yourself, the easier it is to feel. Literally. Confidence walks in first. Desire follows. Lubricants, lotions, comfortable positioning, none of it is taboo. It's toolkit stuff. It's adapting to a wiser, more attuned body. Aging doesn't end your intimate life, it evolves it. And those who embrace the shift, they don't just stay connected, they thrive. Because here's the truth. The spark doesn't die with age. It just waits for someone bold enough to strike the match differently. Here's something no one warned us about. The body doesn't send a memo when it starts changing. It just quietly rewires everything. Suddenly, the things that used to feel amazing, now they feel meh, and no one wants to admit it. But here's the twist. It's not the end. It's the beginning of a more intentional kind of pleasure, one that doesn't rely on autopilot. Physical touch might not hit the same way it did in your 20s, and that's not a flaw. It's a cue to adapt, not retreat. Something as simple as switching to a high-quality water or silicone-based product can turn what felt off into something enjoyable again. It's not about fixing the body. It's about meeting it where it is. Like an old friend who now prefers tea over tequila. And let's talk environment. You'd be surprised how much your brain craves peace before it can enjoy pleasure. A dim room, a quiet vibe, maybe even ditching the performance mindset for a more in-the-moment one. That's the new romance novel. Slow is sexy now. Speed ran the show for years, but intention holds the crown. Gentle massage, temperature shifts, new textures. Yes, even that weird velvet pillow you never thought would come in handy. These aren't gimmicks, they're gateways. When you give your nervous system a variety of experiences, it actually wakes up in new ways. It's like upgrading your Wi Fi. Same house, way better connection. But here's the real twist: comfort doesn't kill excitement, it's the soil it grows in. You're not trying to recreate a past version of passion, you're building a smarter, more evolved one. Let's move to what everyone's secretly worried about: confidence. Truth bomb. Most people over 50 have been taught that their desirability runs on a timer, and when it dings, it's done. But if you've ever met someone who aged like a fine wine and had zero shame about it, you already know that's nonsense. Confidence isn't just a vibe, it's your best kept secret weapon. It starts with showing up for yourself. Eat real food, hydrate like it's a religion, and move your body because it wants to be moved, not punished. The mirror may change, but your worth doesn't. Ever. And if you're partnered, talk. Not the "we should talk" kind. The kind where you say what you really want without the fear of sounding weird or needy. Because truthfully, the only thing more attractive than honesty is the courage it takes to share it. Try something new. Not because you're bored, but because curiosity is a natural aphrodisiac. Now let's get into energy, and yes, we're still talking about intimacy. You know what tanks desire faster than anything? Exhaustion. If you're falling asleep mid-conversation, your libido doesn't stand a chance. But stamina isn't reserved for marathon runners. A brisk walk, a little yoga, or dancing in your kitchen while making eggs. That's the stuff that keeps circulation flowing and desire alive. And don't underestimate the role of food. What you eat literally builds your hormones, fuels your brain, and powers your passion. Fish, nuts, greens, they're not just healthy, they're desire maintenance. Cutting back on processed junk and late-night alcohol binges? Not a punishment. It's you choosing vitality over a short-lived buzz. And if you really want to feel present with someone, sleep like it's sacred. Because it is. A rested mind is a connected mind. Let's land this with what really matters: emotional connection. It's the electricity that makes everything else spark. You don't need fireworks. You need presence. You need someone who gets it when you say, "I'm tired, but I still want to be close." That kind of trust? That's intimacy in its highest form. Little things, inside jokes, hand on the back of the neck, morning texts that aren't about groceries. Those keep the spark alive better than any grand gesture. So if you're worried that aging will dim your light, let me tell you this: the fire doesn't fade. It just burns slower, hotter, and with far more purpose. They say passion fades with time, but maybe time just forces us to get more creative. Because intimacy in your 50s, 60s, and beyond, it's not about the fireworks, it's about the afterglow. It's a quiet kind of heat, the kind that comes from shared stories, knowing glances, and being with someone who still reaches for your hand under the table. It's in the ordinary moments, like cooking together without burning the garlic for once, or learning to salsa in the living room with your socks on. It's the travel plans that turn into spontaneous detours and the laughs that sneak out when you least expect them. And let's not underestimate the power of a compliment. A simple, "you still got it," can go further than most luxury skincare routines. Gratitude is foreplay, folks, and it doesn't cost a dime. Laughter, that underrated aphrodisiac, is the glue that holds it all together. Stress dissolves in humor. Awkwardness vanishes. And suddenly, you're not just partners. You're co-conspirators in joy. Want to shake things up? Try reading something steamy together. Write a note that isn't about the dry cleaning. Even the smallest gestures become spark starters when done with intention. Because here's the twist: when emotional and physical connection work in tandem, Intimacy becomes alchemy. It's not just skin on skin, it's soul meeting soul, with a side of curiosity and maybe a dash of cinnamon. The truth? Aging doesn't dim the flame, it just changes how you light it. When you understand what your body needs, treat self care as sacred and remain open to rediscovering each other. It's not just possible to maintain desire, it's natural. Confidence, connection, and curiosity. Those are the new holy trinity of lasting pleasure. Not glossy magazine advice, not outdated stereotypes, just real people finding new ways to feel seen, desired, and deeply connected. And if you're wondering whether intimacy can still be magical later in life, Jordan from True Story is here to say, not only can it be, it might just be the best chapter yet.